Hey, the Rams are 1-2 and back in the land of the living. This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline.
Live from the Ram Cave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the September 25th, 2024 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions, call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. KistlerLawFirm.com, that's one word. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, by Benched, the app. Never take a zero on your fantasy team. Download Benched, the app today. Okay, I was at Dodger Stadium last night. I got to see a triple play. I got to see Dodger fans cry. I got to hear about Caitlin Clark is going to cause people from not watching me today. Steeler fan Rob says I'm choosing Caitlin Clark over RamView. So it's been all kinds of other stuff going on in sports. But one of the things I do want to talk about, besides Colin Cowherd's sudden man crush, I was driving today. He had the sudden man crush on the Steelers and Mike Tomlin. It was almost like someone gave him a note and said, "Hey, make sure you talk about how great the Steelers are." You know. They beat the Broncos, okay, right? They beat the Chargers without Herbert. I don't think team's going back to the Super Bowl. Anyway, all that stuff going on. The one thing I really wanted to talk about on Monday, and I didn't get a chance to, was talking about Ram fans not existing and always giving up turf at SoFi to 49er fans or whoever's in the house. I mean, it wasn't just 49. Now, 49ers probably do it the most, but hey, last year, the Steeler fans took over the joint. And so this is just what it is with the Rams. Rams don't have home field advantage. I think it's a good thing because, I want people mad at me because then I can get mad at them. It's just an attitude thing here. But what I didn't get a chance to touch on is that there's about four things at play here. And I don't mean to insult my audience because I think you guys are Ram fans, but I'm just working off of how it was when I was growing up in the 70s. Chuck Knox was rolling off division titles one after another. He was the prehistoric Sean McDermott. He was the prehistoric Marty Schottenheimer. And it was always hearing the Rams offense is boring. And I'm thinking, gosh, we're winning. Why is everyone so upset? And the truth is, Ram fans have been notoriously terrible, right? Maybe some of them. I write about them in Game Day in the Ram Cave, right? They're the kind of person that comes in the room, never follows the team, and then, a punt gets blocked or a pass picked off. They're the kind of person that chimes in, oh, typical Rams, right? You just hate those people. Rams fans have been notoriously terrible, just awful. They're not like Cowboys fans who are delusional or Steeler fans who find happiness in winning records and 0 Super Bowl appearances over the last 15 years. Put 100 so-called Ram fans in a room, 75 to 80 of them are going to be fair weather to fake, right? Watch highlights of Super Bowl 14. I've said this before. And when they flash to Ram fans in the stands at the Rose Bowl, and you could spot them. Those people were all frauds. They weren't Ram fans. They were the ones booing them when they lost to the Giants at home. They were the ones booing them the whole time. They were the ones Doug France talked about to the LA Times that said, hey, we're not playing this game for our fans because we've been booed and disregarded at home in that 79 season. Ram fans, especially the ones in that video of the NFL films of Super Bowl 14, they stink worse than Sacramento at low tide, right? That's just something that Ram fans are, right? 2, they went away for 20 years, right? They lost a couple of generations. I mean, they probably could have really won some status here if the greatest show on turf had happened in LA instead of St. Louis, but it didn't. Fans that should be Ram fans now root for the 49ers, Packers, Cowboys. At first, I didn't understand it, but then I did. It was like there was no team here, so I'm going to watch the NFL and I'm going to glom on to whoever it is. Those of us who grew up Ram fans, I tried to get rid of them. I tried not to root for them, but it was too ingrained. It is my team. The third reason you have more fans for other teams at SoFi is this is LA. It feels like everybody's a transplant. Most people are transplants. I can remember going to the Dodger games back in the 80s. And I noticed that when I went, there were two strong bases that had strong cheering sections. It was the Cubs and the Mets. I saw Hojo take Don Sutton in 88 deep, and I would have thought I was at Shea Stadium the way people cheered. Maybe it was the area I was sitting in. Now, that's interesting that those groups, Cubs and Mets, can make enough noise to hear them cheer and take over for a brief moment a stadium that was usually sold out in Dodger blue. But that's it. LA's transplant town. Fourth, our culture across the board these days, right, has only room for elation, not passion or duration. Cowboy fans, Steeler fans, they're in it for the duration, right? Packer fans, they're in it for the duration. So-called Ram fans are in it merely for the elation, merely for the moment. That's why they need The Rock to come in and do his jackwagon rah-rah before the big games. Nothing embarrasses me more than when I don't know, is it Demoff? I don't know, is it Kroenke? Whenever they make a move like that to bring in some star before a game, all it does is just reinforce what everyone else about the country believes about LA and also about the Rams. To me, it projects a soft image if I have to have The Rock go out there, raise his eyebrow, and do his shtick, right? But that's LA. Football is a blue-collar sport that touches the emotions of middle-class blue-collar people because it's about sacrifice and grinding. White-collar people grind too. They've grinded up from wealthy living to from middle-class living. But in LA, it's all about being fashionable instead of being valuable. It's all about flash, not substance, right? And so we're always going to have to deal with that. I think it'll change, but I think it's going to take a few more Super Bowl trips. I think you're going to have some iconic moments, almost like Montana to Clark, for those things to happen before it changes. But have to live with it. It's the reality of LA, and it's even more reinforced by our culture, which is across the board in America now, but definitely alive and well here in the LA area. Is it's always going to be about fashion. It's always going to be about fashion. I have to say, I've said it before. I went to a lot of Laker games in the 70s before Magic Johnson got there in 79 because they were reasonably priced. And the only celebrity I ever saw there, my brothers and I ever saw, was Jack Nicholson. It was like, they're there in 76, 77 when Don Ford is still, getting out on the fast break, catching a pass from Lou Hudson, right? But then in the 80s, what happened, right? Every star, Chevy Chase. Now, Diane Cannon kind of was there a little bit. I've seen pictures of her. But everyone, Rob Lowe, Arsenio Hall, all of them, they were all there. It was gross, right? It was gross. And in some ways, I'm glad I didn't go to the Forum as often in the 80s as I did in the 70s because the product was great. I just didn't like the circus around it, right? And that's LA. And that's always going to send a bad image about our sports teams. I don't think we're ever going to be KC, Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, even Giant fans, which is so weird, right? Giant fans, they're on the left coast there, but they have a devotion that LA just doesn't have. Anyway, threw that out there. Let's get to some Ram stuff. Did you hear, Jason, Andrew Whitworth's thing? I saw it on X, telling Ram fans that they're seeing a version of John Wayne at quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I know I'm like president of the Matthew Stafford fanboy club. I am, but he hit on that better than I ever could have. I wish I had thought of it. He is like John Wayne out there. He's just total control, and you see him encouraging his teammates. Whitworth just nailed it. It was beautiful, and I loved how he said this. He said, enjoy it. Stafford's in his 16th year. Yeah, he's probably one or two big hits from hanging him up, but it's, again, to me, it's like watching Montana play, even though you hated the 49ers. To me, it was like watching John Elway play, even though I wasn't a Bronco fan. There's just something about these guys. Even Manning, right, down the end, Peyton Manning down the stretch, you see him manipulate the line of scrimmage and do all these things where he gets Brandon Stokely in his 15th year wide open in the end zone. These quarterbacks, some of them are just so exceptional, right? just so unbelievable. And we just have to enjoy it while it's happening. Except for Mina Kimes and Chase Daniel. May their careers just drop dead, because they're the kind of people that just offend, because they think of you as being stupid, that you would think, oh yeah, Rams are 0-2. Let's send Matthew Stafford to the Raiders. Oh yeah, Ram fans are stupid. NFL fans are stupid. Listeners are stupid. Let's make a 3-way deal with the Dolphins and Panthers and bring Bryce Young to LA. Mina Kimes, Chase Daniel, get out. You're never going to be welcome in the Ram cave. In fact, Mina Kimes, Chase Daniel are no longer even considered. If they said, Joe, I want to watch a game in the Ram cave, no, they can't come. Can't come. All right. I'm anxious this week, second part here, looking at Jared Verse and Byron Young, thinking how they played against the 49ers. One, you had to match up with Trent Williams, and Colton McKivitz is, he's okay. But we saw it. We saw Jared Verse and Byron Young get in that backfield. Now, the goal is to have them finish a little more often. But right now, Jared Verse and Byron Young are scheduled to play a struggling Bears offensive line, which is supposed to be better than it has been, but it hasn't been this year. It's got to be better than it is, but it hasn't shown it. And they have an opportunity to wreak some havoc. And here's the thing I really want to see. I want to see them have a 5-6 sack day, split Caleb Williams between them, 3 sacks even each. I just want to see that, because what I want to see is I want their profiles to be raised. And what I really want to see is for the NFL to look at the Rams and not just think, stop Matthew Stafford, stop Sean McVay and the offense, but I want them to have to consider, oh my gosh, they've got some stuff on that defensive side that can really cause some issues. And it would cause and affect how they're going to game plan, cause and affect how much they're going to pass. And I'm really looking forward to an opportunity here to see Verse and Young become the danger, to become the ones that knock, right? To me, the issue for the Rams defense right now, more than anything else, is the back porch. Cam Curl, Cam Kitchens, they have to step up. They have to play better. We have to get John Johnson back. I didn't think I'd be saying this, but we need John Johnson back. And to some extent, Quentin Lake needs to play better, but he's playing well. He's just not playing. I think he could play better. Curl and Kitchens, though. I like Kitchens hitting people, but right now he looks like Taylor Rapp. He looks like Taylor Rapp, right? And when he whiffs, he looks like Taylor Swift. Speaking of the defense, something you have to acknowledge, and this has been something we have to acknowledge for who he is, a UDFA out of Delaware. Troy Reeder is playing the best ball of his career these first 3 weeks. He really is. It's the first 3 weeks. It doesn't mean anything. It's the first 3 weeks, but give him his due. His first 3 weeks, he's playing a solid off-ball linebacker for the Rams, right? Roseboom is who he is. Roseboom's all effort, right? His spirit is willing, but his flesh is weak. And, any click you get out of Roseboom is great. But, neither of these guys are going to make anybody forget Jack Reynolds. Neither of these guys are going to make anyone forget Brian Urlacher, right? But right now, Rams are getting good clicks out of Troy Reeder, a little bit above his talent level. And Roseboom is where you expect Roseboom to be. And I know everyone's calling for Omar Spates. And my guess is, my belief is that soon as he knows, he'll be out there. That's my feeling. Last ad on the defense before we go check about the offensive line. Last ad on the defense. Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk are eating up all the snaps along the line of scrimmage, which is great. Braden Fisk's having his ups and downs, just like Verse, and Young. I know Young's in his second year, getting there but finishing, getting there but not finishing. Kobe Turner is holding up well, but the one that's surprising is journeyman Neville Gallimore, who came in kind of a little fanfare. He's probably playing the best of everyone else, better than Bobby Brown, Tyler Davis, DeJuan Johnson. Gallimore has got 49 snaps. Bobby Brown is at 104 snaps. Tyler Davis, 32. DeJuan Johnson is at 27. Now, to be fair, Brown does have a tender ankle, and Brown hasn't been out and out horrible. He's just got to play better if he wants another contract, right? He's just got to be better. Again, facing a struggling offensive line, that hasn't been able to get a push against Tennessee, Houston, or Indy. This is an opportunity. I hope his ankle's better. Tyler Davis is a rookie, and DeJuan Johnson's 1 year removed from being Mr. Irrelevant, right? The other thing about the Bears' offensive line, they couldn't get a rush against a running game going against Tennessee. There's the 29th rated run defense. Houston has the number 16 run defense. Now Indy's a little better, but I think DeForest Buckner was playing on that team when they were ranked number 9. So I expect them to drop. So, there's opportunity here for the Rams to make some hay. And I don't want to look back getting a win. If the Rams win 6-3, 6-5, 3-0, I don't care. It's a win, right? It's good enough for the Steelers to win ugly. I'd be happy for the Rams to win ugly. But it's also just an opportunity to come out, and you hope they come out and take it away from Caleb Williams before Caleb Williams suddenly has the light go on and it's his breakout game, right? Let's keep them in disarray in Chicago for another couple of weeks. Going back to the offensive line, they're matching up against the Bears, Montez Sweat. And even Montez Sweat has not had the start to the season everyone's expected. For a second week in a row, Rams will be going with Alaric Jackson. Right now, Logan Bruss, Bo Limmer, Kevin Dotson, and Rob Havenstein from left to right. And I'm not hearing anything negative about Logan Bruss either. That kind of surprised me. Anxious to see, how Bo Limmer string together a couple games. He kind of fared well in the second half in Detroit. He looked terrible against a weak Cardinal team, a better Frisco team. He played better. And again, it's about learning the ropes. Again, Stafford has confidence in him. But if Bo Limmer strings together another game here, and another game maybe against Green Bay, which will be a really tough opponent, he's in the conversation. I don't believe what everyone else is saying that, could Bo Limmer, keep his job and Jonah Jackson move to left guard and put Steve Avila on the bench. The only reason Steve Avila is going to be on the bench is because his knee's not ready. And I don't believe the Rams are just going to bow out of the Jonah Jackson business that they signed for 3 years after, 3 or 4 games, right? So Limmer's going to be a backup. He's going to be a backup, and we're going to find out because Jonah Jackson right now, the last 2 years, has shown he is injury prone. And if that happens, I hope it doesn't. Bo Limmer's going to get a lot of experience. Limmer is showing an awful lot right now. But I'm just happy they can run the same offensive line out there for 2 weeks in a row. That's going to be great. That's just really, really good news. Okay, around the NFL and other places, I'm going to start in Dodger Stadium. I was at the Ravine last night. I got free tickets, which is always cool. And I was with a Padre fan and a Dodger fan. And then, of course, I was wearing my Mets hat. And I was kind of caught up because I needed the Dodgers to win to help the Mets in the playoff chase because the Mets are battling with the Padres and Diamondbacks for the final wild card spot. But I was rooting against the Dodgers. I couldn't help it. They're up 4-1. Padres are up 4-1 most of the game, the whole game. Get to the ninth. They get a run. They got 2 runners on. It's 4-2. And Miguel Rojas is at the plate, and he shows bunt. The entire infield crashes in. He pulls back, and then they go to the next pitch. Next pitch, he swings away, and Manny Machado, much to the Dodger fans' dismay and pain, he makes the play, steps on the bag at third, goes to second, and goes to first. I'm on the third baseline. We were on the third baseline, and our biggest question because of view was, is he out at second? But Rojas was so clearly out at first, and it makes you wonder about Rojas's speed. But on the way out, we're hearing Dodger fans complain and scream about Dave Roberts, and then I heard the Dodger talk on the way home. Was it David Bassett? I'm not sure who it was. We're listening to Dodger talk, and it's like I can't understand where the analytics people are, right? People that I've heard preach the gospel on analytics forever were really mad that Dave Roberts didn't bunt there. And I thought analytics said you don't bunt, right? And I'm not a huge Dave Roberts fan. I don't even know if he's calling all the shots there at the Ravine. But how do you blame a manager for a triple play? It was the first triple play I ever saw live at a baseball game, at an NBL game, MLB game. It was amazing. And I don't know how. It's such a fluke thing. I don't know how, That triple play happens because Manny Machado was just smooth. Cronenworth makes an amazing turn, and Rojas somehow is just a little bit slow. And the whole marvelous of it is Dodger fans are complaining, and the Padres are within a 2-game shouting distance with one of their better pitchers going tonight. It was an amazing thing. Number 2 here, Derwin James gets suspended, but I don't hear a word about Talana Hafanga taking that cheap shot against Kyron Williams. Don't hear anything. Injury news, Lions put Marcus Davenport, edge rusher, on the IR. He was supposed to be the complement to Aiden Hutchinson, and Davenport is hurt again, and he's always hurt. KC brings back and activates Kareem Hunt to the active roster. Steelers place Corey Trice, cornerback, on the IR. Former Rams safety Jordan Fuller joins Adam Thielen on the IR with the Panthers, and the Browns lose high-end guard Wyatt Teller with an MCL strain to the IR. They're coming to Las Vegas. That's good news for the Raiders. Raiders need a win. And I think when everyone was going to be down on Antonio Pierce for the way his team swallowed the jalapeno against the Panthers on Sunday, I think the fact that he came out and said we had players making business decisions and we're going to make business decisions too, mean he wasn't going to be vanilla, meant he wasn't going to be milquetoast, meant he wasn't going to be passive. But it sounded like, you know what? He should know that those players are putting him in danger of taking the bread out of his mouth. And so I love the way he responded to that. We're going to see how the Raiders respond to a not very good Browns team. Coaches on the hot seat, Mike McCarthy, Matt Eberflus. All right, guys, I see your questions. I'm Joe Terosian. I was a sports writer for 21 years, and now I do RamView thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. Please check them out. If you have a question about an auto accident or an auto injury, I guarantee you won't regret it. I know personally firsthand. And also, I write books. My books are on Amazon. Thank you so much for your support. I was talking to one of my readers today. I'm blessed to have readers. And they said they finished the book. They really liked it. And I said, I felt like I nerded out too much and got too deep into the weeds on my nerddom. And they said, no, that's why they liked it. And they wanted to punch one of the characters. So check out Game Day in the Ram Cave on Amazon. And it is a novel. And it's about a fictional NFC title game between Rams and Packers at SoFi. Please check it out if you can. But these things help keep me employed with my day job, where I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. We are right here on YouTube at Burbank Faith Virtual. You can check us out at burbankfaithvirtual.com and other places all across social media. Also, new sponsor that came on board is Benched the app. And it's basically, hey, you forget to put somebody in the lineup or somebody gets hurt, like a hamstring injury at the last minute. Bench the app moves that next player up. So download Bench the app. You know, if you're tired of losing fantasy games because you forgot to check, right? Bench, make sure that's a thing of the past. Bench is the only app that ensures you never leave a non-starting player in your lineup. Don't miss out on crucial points. Don't be the one who forgot to bench a player on game day. Win your league, keep your pride, issue all the spite you can, and let Bench handle the rest. Download Bench today and dominate your fantasy season. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. And let's go. Let's see here. Tim Burns, go Kistler, go Kistler. Hey, I'm telling you, Kistler Law, man, that's what it's all about. I know firsthand. I am not advertising for someone I don't know about. I know Kistler Law. If you guys remember back in December, I'm doing a show, and all of a sudden I get my office broken into because my wife got hit by a car. And I left up for 30 minutes a show filming a blank studio here. Kistler Law got me through that situation. Let's see. Tim Burns. Caitlin Clark looks like Jason Kidd early. Oh, but she shoots better than Jason Kidd. Tim Burns. It's an LA thing. Too much to do in LA. Speaking of Ram fans, you got to be relevant. Kwame Brown doesn't fill seats. Okay. Bill, when are the Rams going to activate Weatherspoon? You know, it's been really quiet on that front, Bill. Really quiet. You know, lo and behold, the Rams have no injuries to report so far. No little minor things here and there. And Darius Williams is due in another week. I'm curious. I know they like Wallace and Woods, those undrafted free agents. I don't know. I do not know. But let's keep Witherspoon around as that safety. Tim Powers saw Kyron Williams toss a TD football to a young fan Sunday. That's how you build a fan base, plus winning. Again, there's something about that. Again, Mr. Powers, we talked about it. The Rams don't suffer any fools, right? They just don't. One arrest, to me, the only one I can remember, Darian Kendrick, right? Last year, driving late at night, got pulled over, had a gun in his car. Wasn't too serious, but you think about the whole McSnead era, 2017 to present, that's the only arrest. No domestic violence, no issues like that. The Rams go after quality people. And again, you got Kyron Williams doing that kind of stuff. That does build a fan base. I know it builds loyalty. Steve Ramirez, a little late. My 63-year-old memory sucks sometimes. Hey, you're cool, Steve. You're okay. You can do what you want. Tim Burns, Coleman Shelton is the center for Chicago. Nice for us. I like Coleman Shelton. Coleman Shelton to me is the Troy Reader of the offensive line, right? Just a guy that works hard. Probably not the guy you want, in your playoff run going to the Super Bowl, but a guy that's going to give you solid clicks at guard and center. I'm glad he's got a starting job. Glad he's another year closer to collecting his pension. But I do appreciate what the Rams have right now. Tim Burns, Kimes is no Mensa. There we go. Tim Powers, that was Tim Burns. Tim Powers says, third week straight Rams face an elusive quarterback, contain. The nice part about that, Mr. Powers, is the fact that, you had to deal with Kyler Murray, had to deal with Purdy, and now you're dealing with Caleb Williams. The part about Caleb Williams, though, is while Purdy seemed to make all the right decisions because of his experience, we haven't necessarily seen that in Caleb Williams yet, right? Tell me, Mr. Powers, did not Purdy remind you of Fran Tarkenton, but with a better arm on Sunday? That's who I was thinking about. I just don't want – the Rams got to get a pass rush. I want Caleb Williams scrambling around a little bit. I just don't want him comfortable, and I don't want him getting into a groove because Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. Let's see here. Tim Burns, Shula has to attack the right side of the Bears O-line. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that at all. That's the strength right now of the Rams side is I'm sorry, misquote there. That's an opportunity. That's what I meant to say. That's an opportunity to make hay. Tim Powers, Stafford is Steve McQueen cool, like the Magnificent Seven cool. Steve McQueen, Great Escape. Hey, all you got to do is say Steve McQueen to me. I've asked my wife for a shirt that when Steve McQueen makes that line, when he says to Eli Wallach, he says, "We deal in lead, friend." That's what I like, right? Wouldn't that be a great name for your defense? Your defense deals in lead. All about the Steve McQueen. Judah Tribe. I know your run defense sucks, but tell me about your pass rush. I'm a Bears fan, but I really don't like my quarterback. Are you going to kill the guy and chip his fingernail? Judah Tribe, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Our run defense has not been great. They got a little bit. Two things happened last week against Frisco. They kind of stopped running the ball, and the Rams tightened things up a little bit in the second half. And right now, if those young guys, young and especially Verse, if they had just finished all these plays they were set to make in the backfield, because they're getting to where they need to be, right? They just can't finish. So it's like rookies unfamiliar with who they're going against. I think that stuff's going to come about. I hope it comes out against your team. I did not know you were anti-Caleb Williams. Are you a Tyson Bagent guy? Thank you, Judah Tribe, for clicking on. Tim Burns, Rams 31, Chicago 17. From your lips to the football god's ears, Mr. Burns. Rob, Steeler fan Rob, Colin Coward flip-flops more than Kamala. Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking about you as I'm listening. He's just like gushing over the Steelers today. I'm thinking, man, someone must have gave him a note. Samuel Ensley, howdy, Joe. Howdy, Sam. Thank you for clicking on. Judah Tribe at Tim Burns. Highly doubt you'll put 31 on our defense, but I got you winning too. Judah Tribe, Tim Burns, how banged up are you all? Judah, I'll answer that. Rams had no injuries this past week. JJ, John Johnson, safety is out. Darius Williams is out. He's coming back next week. And it's the back porch for the Rams. It really is the back porch for the Rams. And if you can get some time there for Caleb Williams, the Rams back porch has to play better, and Trey White has to tighten up. He tightened up a little bit. Of course, Jawan Jennings had an off the charts game, had a career game last week. But other than that, on the defensive side, Rams are less banged up than they are on the offensive side. Steve Ramirez, you were one of those. I hate when I go to a Rams-Bills game and there's the guy in the Packers jersey. Okay. All right. I hear you. But I wear that Mets hat with pride. Steve Ramirez, you bunt to stay out of the double play, which is what should have been still on, mainly because Rojas hit into a double play his previous at bat. I'm not arguing with you, Steve, but have you heard the analytics guys, the Moneyball guys? Oh, we don't bunt anymore. We don't bunt anymore. I understand what everyone's saying. Traditional baseball says bunt. Just the true tragedy is, even if there was 2 outs and a runner on third, you left Ohtani in the on deck circle, man. You left Ohtani. It was brutal. It was brutal. Let's see. Rams might get rammed up there. Oh, beautiful. Ghost of Judah Tribe by Fingernail Polish Boy. Really? Okay. All right. We'll see what happens. Tim Burns, no new injuries. The Ghost of Judah. If you lose to Caleb Williams, you're bums. The season's going to be in serious trouble if we lose to Caleb Williams. Yeah, we have to win this. This is a have-to win for the Rams. Tim Powers' O-line keeps Sweat off of Stafford. Preach. Absolutely. Sweat is a great player. I mean, he looked like he was kind of rusting there in Washington. He came to Chicago last year, and he turned it on. He got the new contract, and he hasn't really had an opportunity to turn it on right now. And so I'm anxious to see. What he does this week. Tim Burns, just when I was agreeing with Joe T about Purdy, he pulls the San Fran injury shuffle. Yeah, he's got a sore back, right? Is that what it is with Purdy right now? Micah Gutierrez, this would be a good week for Verse and Fist to finish their chances. Yes, thank you. You're hearing me. This is an opportunity for them to feast, an opportunity to send a message that the Rams defense is the danger, right? That they are the danger. Ramley Ties, Joe T, Horns Up Ramley. Thank you, Ramley Ties. Ghost of Judah Tribe. I'm a huge Tyson Bagent fan. Okay. Tyson plays, we destroy the Rams. Caleb plays, more than likely you'll win. I liked Tyson Bagent when I saw him last year. You know what? But all the dough, all the hype, Matt Eberflus's future is tied to Caleb Williams. Caleb's going to have to go Bryce Young or get hurt before Bagent plays. I don't know if you destroy the Rams with Tyson Bagent, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. Something tells me it might be a little more difficult based on Caleb Williams' play so far this season, but he is capable of so much more. Bill, should the Rams put Tutu at quarterback 3 or 4 times a game? I think if he was with Andy Reid, they probably would spot him a couple times. That would be amazing, huh? Put him in the backfield there. Let him be in a shotgun formation. Everyone thinks he's going to run, and then just have him fake a handoff, go down the line, throw a pass. Just that stuff to give them to think about, right? I got to believe there's going to be a jet sweep in there because they mocked it so many times on Sunday, right? How many times did he come across like there was going to be a jet sweep and he didn't get the ball? At some point to sell that, he has to get the ball, right? And so I do believe stuff is coming. Tim Burns, I am still in Sin Virus. Tangent Dreams was a great book. Thank you so much, Mr. Burns. Do you like Sin Virus? I know it's not a football book, but I really enjoyed writing Sin Virus. Let's see here. Ramley Ties. A lot of so-called experts are picking Chicago on Sunday. I don't do Vegas lines because I don't understand them, but they say Chicago's a 3-point advantage over the Rams. And what I have heard that every home team gets a 3-point bump. So basically what they're saying is it's a toss-up game. Am I fair in saying that? I don't know. Steve Ramirez, thoughts on UNLV quarterback walking out today? I will get to that soon as I get through the questions and stuff right here, but that was amazing. Different world we live in now, right, Steve? Ramley Ties, remember the Bears are not that good. They actually suck. I don't know if they suck, but they're not as great right now as they're going to be or could be. But let's also remember, I don't think the Cardinals are that good. Everyone was ready to put Kyler Murray in the Hall of Fame after week 2. I don't think the Bears are that. I don't think the Cardinals are that good either, and the Rams played down. Tim Burns, Xavier Smith should be the jet sweep guy. Xavier Smith and Tutu in the backfield at the same time. That'd be fun. And we did hear McVay say that Xavier Smith will be returning the punts from here on out. I think we heard that, right? I can't remember where I heard it. Judah Tribe, nice sportscast, my man. I subscribe. Hey, thank you, Judah. I appreciate it. Good luck to your Lambs this Sunday. I think you'll continue to grow very well. Here's to sports. Hey, Judah, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Micah Gutierrez, once the Bears O-line play steps up, they'll be a playoff team. Yeah, the offensive line steps up, give Caleb Williams a little bit of a running game and a little bit of time. Then it's all up to Caleb, right? It's all up to Caleb, and we'll see. Let's see, Judah Tribo to Ramley ties. If our defense scores, you might lose. Our offense is really not that good. Enjoy a deep dish pizza on your way. Okay. I don't want to lose you, Judah Tribe. I'm not a fan of Chicago style. I'm more of a New York style. I like the flat, skinny pizza, but hey, that's me. Okay, let's take a look here at college football. I'll get my college football top 10 here in a second. The kid from UNLV, Matt Slicka, wow, walks out on his team. UNLV's 3-0, by the way. And has UNLV agreed to come to the Pac-10 yet, or the Pac-12 yet? I heard they were the next group coming, the next one coming in. 3-0, didn't get the dough he was promised. I heard some other group is offering him more money to come someplace else. And you know what? It's not good. It's not healthy. But you know what? The flip side of it, the way the NCAA treated everybody for so many years, no one took a stand. The sport has kind of swung the pendulum the other way, and the NCAA is reaping what it's sown. There has to be a governing body. If the Power 5 conferences would just get together and say, guys, we're hiring a commissioner. I mean, I don't know how you say this. They should just say blank the NCAA. We're not even going to listen to you anymore. You're irrelevant to us. The money is so big. We're not going to. When was the last time I haven't heard of a player being declared academically ineligible? We know what this is. It's professional football. It's just the developmental side of it. And I don't know why they don't do this. The Power 5 should just say, you know what? Someone enters the portal mid-season or walks out mid-season for an issue like this, dude, you're toast. We're not going to sign you. You can't come in. They need to set up their own governing body, get a couple of people from each of the Power 5 conferences and just see, who else follows once into that. Because I tell you, kid's not going to leave if he doesn't think a Power 5 school. Power 5 school is after this kid. Someone's offering him bigger dough to go to the Big 12, Big 10, SEC, even the ACC a little bit. Someone's offering him bread, and they need to ratify some kind of association here. Who cares what the NCAA says? Just get rid of it. I just think there's too many people making grift money. I am very conspiratorial, and I find the NCAA so evil and corrupt that this is what's caused. They've caused this. They've sown this, and this is the madness. And I don't think it speaks well for the kid's character. I wish my teammates well and all that. That's garbage. And then the other aspect of it is, if he's coming into my program, I'm a head coach and I'm going to bring him into my program. I know about his character. And unless there's something we don't know, and I'm not regarding money, unless there's something we don't know, I think there is something about his character. Doesn't sound like he'll play for the Rams. Okay, my top 10, just based on teams I've seen, okay? My top 10 includes 11 teams. I got a tie at the 10 spot for right now. Number 10 is Boston College. They get Western Kentucky this week. My other number 10 team is Illinois, 4-0. Great win at Nebraska. They go to Happy Valley this week. And so, Penn State has not played well this year. And Illinois finds a way. Altmaier, not saying he's going to be a star NFL quarterback, but Altmaier has played well for the Illini. I'm making Notre Dame 3-1. They get Louisville, LSU right now, Alabama. Number 7, Oregon goes to UCLA, Penn State, Illinois. Missouri's off this week. USC hosts Wisconsin. Chance to get healthy mentally for the Trojans. I had to put Michigan at number 3. They're not going to stay there. They're playing Minnesota. They beat USC. Michigan has a quarterback problem, and I think they're going to compete, but they're not going to compete big time. I like Miami because I like Cam Ward. They got Virginia Tech, and Texas goes to Mississippi State. I didn't see as much football last week because I was very angry after the USC lost. So there you go. All right, let's work our way down here. As I was going to say, no new injuries for the Rams. We should maybe hear if there's any nicks and bruises this week, or maybe now something's come out. I think Darius Williams, this is the last game. Darius Williams is out. and I'm not sure where Murchison is. Larrell Murchison is. And we'll see. We'll see right now. And I'm wondering if Murchison comes back, who gets the clip? I think Johnson might get the clip, right? He gets cut, waived, and then maybe re-signed to the practice squad. Maybe. I don't know. I know expecting some kind of roster move in terms of Xavier Smith. Okay, we talked about the Bears, Rams a little bit already. Bears offensive line is struggling, and we'll go back there. Just remember, though, that secondary for the Bears, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Bisker are solid safeties, and Jalen Johnson's a top-notch corner, and he's playing very well. Week 4 is here. In week 3, I finally got better. I broke even, went 8-8. Tomorrow, Cowboys Giants, the Jason Garrett Bowl. I am, I can't root for the Cowboys. Let's root for the Giants, right? Their offensive line is playing well. Danny Dimes, Malik Neighbors, Devin Singletary. I'm going to get Brian Daboll and his team. Giants at home, they break the curse. They win the Jason Garrett Bowl and defeat the Cowboys. You got Bengals at Panthers this week. I'll give these predictions on Friday. Rams at Bears in the Bill Wade Bowl. Vikings Packers in the Brett Favre Bowl. Jaguars Texans. Steelers Colts in the Roy Jefferson Bowl. Broncos at Jets in the Matt Robinson Bowl. You got Eagles Buccaneers. That's a big one. That's a real big one. And Bucks are 2-1. And I think people were already giving this to it. I did. I thought Atlanta was a lock in the South. New Orleans has played better, but they showed they're human. Bucks need to show that loss to Denver was a one-off. And Eagles, they're fighting for their lives. Sirianni's fighting for his lives. Taxkins Cardinals. Go Taxkins. Win this game, and I might allow myself to call you Commanders for a week. Patriots at 49ers. 49ers need this one. I think they get it. Chiefs at Chargers. I got friends who are going to SoFi for the first time. They're so excited because they're Charger fans. They live in San Diego, and Justin Herbert might not play. Can you imagine waiting all that time to get here to see your guy, your team, and you get Tyler Heineke? Not that he's bad. It's Taylor Heineke. It's not Justin Herbert. Browns at Raiders in the Lyle Alzado Bowl. I'm rooting for the Raiders. Deshaun Watson's he's not getting a lot of help. What was he sacked 5 times last week? 6 times? And then receivers are dropping the ball, and he's just not good. Saints and Falcons at the Bobby Hebert Bowl. That one's going to be interesting. That one feels like a toss-up. Sunday night, you got Bills Ravens. That's going to be worth watching. That's a waiting all day for Sunday night kind of game. I'm rooting for the Bills, but we'll see. And then Monday night, they're doing us again with a doubleheader, and that's just tragic. Why they don't stagger these games? Play the early game at 4:30 our time, and then the 7:30. You know what I'm saying? Stagger these East and West, and instead of having them going on at the same time. I will watch all the games. Dolphins Titans looks like a dog with fleas, but you know what? I will watch all the games. I will. I don't want to be told the score. I don't want to be given updates when I'm recording it. But somehow ESPN and the NFL they treat everyone like dog meat, right? And so that upsets me. They're playing 2 games. Titans, Dolphins, and the Ryan Tannehill Bowl. That reminds me of Bill Murray making Oscar predictions about supporting actors and actresses. He goes, "Who the heck cares?" Right? Seahawks and Lions in the Golden Tate Bowl. Go Lions. I thought this game was in Seattle. It's in Detroit. Detroit's got some injuries. But I'm rooting for the Lions here. Man, please go Lions. Bring the Seahawks down to earth. And I think we got it.
It was a stone groove, my man.
Yeah, we got it. Let's look at some questions before we go to this day in Rams history. Let's see. Let's see. Ramley Ties, Judah Tribe, we will see. I'm a thin crust guy. Sorry. I am too. Go Brooklyn style, right? Judah Tribe, enjoy a deep dish and Italian beef. See you Sunday, lamb bums. Okay, Ramley Ties, they're going back and forth. New Pac-12 should be called the LAC-12. It is going to look different, right? I'm kind of glad it's not going away. I'm happy for Washington State and Oregon State. I am a Washington State fan. Ramley Ties, Judah Tribe, the Teddies better be ready. Okay, SF, San Francisco overlooked the Rams. I'm a USC fan, but Caleb Williams is a bum. Wow, okay. Tim Burns, UNLV quarterback, says he transferred from Holy Cross based on NIL money and never got it. So he felt they were 3-0 and he was hosed. If true, it's understandable, but you don't quit on your teammates in my world. You don't quit on your teammates. You don't. And again, how do you handle this educationally, right? How do you handle this? I don't get, does he keep going to class? I mean, how do you do this? He withdraws from school? I just don't understand it. I think it's terrible. Steve Ramirez. I loved interviewing now Illinois coach Brent Bielema when he was at Wisconsin. Great offensive line developer. Oh, you met him. He's interesting on the sidelines there. You know, he really is. That must have been a pretty good interview, Steve. Tim Burns. If Caleb Williams gets any worse, he may charter a 3-hour tour with Georgia Frontiere. Oh, boy. Steelers Colts could be the John Unitas Bowl. You know, I went Roy Jefferson because it was more subtle. But if you want me to, Steve, I'll adjust that bowl to the John Unitas Bowl. If you want me to, I'll do it. Michael Negretti, great job, Pastor. Keep up the great work. Jesus comes first on Sunday. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, guys. You know, my day job, I am going to be in the pulpit. Try not to contact me if you have a way of contacting me. I do keep my phone off. I do avoid social media. But there's always a Steeler fan, Rob, out there who likes to let me know something and send a he and a he if something bad happens to the Rams. There's always someone out there wanting to do evil. So I am going to be watching the Ram game on delay and such. So anyway, on this date in Rams history, September 25th, Jim Benton was born in 1960. Now, who's Jim Benton? Jim Benton played 10 years in the NFL from 38 to 47. Played for the Rams. The Rams didn't have a team in 43 because of the war. He was loaned out to the Bears, won a title for the Bears that year. But he was a second-round pick, 11th overall in 38 out of Arkansas. 6'3", 200 pounds. In his career, he caught 228 passes. This is in the 30s and 40s, guys. 228 passes, 45 touchdowns, all pro in 45 and 46. In 1945, the year the Rams won the NFL title, he caught 45 passes, averaged 23.7 yards a catch, scored 8 touchdowns, 10-game season here, and for over 1,000 yards, 1,067 yards. I mean, he was Cooper Kupp before there was Cooper Kupp. In that 45 title game, he caught 9 passes for 125 yards, and in the second quarter, he caught a 37-yard touchdown pass from Bob Waterfield that put the team up 9-7. Rams went on to beat the Redskins that day, 15-14. And I'm going somewhere with this, so stick with me. And they led the rest of the way. So in a sense, in the old game-winning RBI scenario in the MLB, he scored the go-ahead touchdown, and the Rams held the rest of the way. And here's the interesting thing. Let me finish with him real quick. Well, no, let me do the interesting thing. Ben's catch was a 37-yard touchdown pass that eventually put the Rams ahead. They held on and won. In 1951, in the fourth quarter, Tom Fears caught a 73-yard touchdown pass from Van Brocklin that was the difference in the Rams winning the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. In 1999, in the fourth quarter, Isaac Bruce caught a 73-yard touchdown pass from Kurt Warner in a tie game to win the Super Bowl. In the fourth quarter, Cooper Kupp also scored a 1-yard touchdown from Stafford with the Rams trailing in Super Bowl 56. So each Ram championship came and was decided by a touchdown pass. Isn't that amazing? I just thought that was a kind of a cool find. Regarding Jim Benton, who passed away in 2001 at the age of 84, his most notable game was on Thanksgiving Day, 1945, against the Detroit Lions. Bob Waterfield and him connected 10 times for 303 yards, right? And it cinched the Rams title that year, the division title, November 22nd, 1945. And Flipper Anderson has the record now, 11 catches, 22 on November 26th, 89, 15 catches, 336 yards and a touchdown. But Jim Benton deserves to be remembered, right? Jim Benton deserves to be remembered. He was born on this day in 1916. Also born on this day in 1942 was former Rams tackle Harry Shue. 1991, Alec Ogletree was born. 1993, Brandon Cooks was born. And there you go. On this day in 1977, Joe Namath threw the last TD passes of his career, one to Terry Nelson, one to Lawrence McCutcheon, as the Rams beat the Eagles 20-0. And on this day in 1983, The Rams lost in Shea Stadium 27-24. If you remember that, you'll see a lot of highlights of Eric Dickerson going to the house in that game. That was also the Mark Gastineau, Jackie Slater fight. And Gastineau got the sack on Ferragamo, did his sack dance, which now doesn't mean anything. At the time, it was, my God in heaven. It was like so scary, right? And he was celebrating, and Slater came around, shoved him to the ground, and a whole fight ensued. You could check that out. That's on YouTube. The only bummer about that game is the Rams lost. That game. And you know why they lost? I didn't go to church that day. My routine was to go to church. I stayed home and watched the early window game, and I didn't have a means of recording it. I just wanted to see the game. But, if you read my book, Game Day in the Ram Cave, we had this thing growing up where you felt like you jinxed the Rams if you didn't go to church. If you were supposed to go to church, if you never go to church, that's not it. If it's your routine to go to church and you break the routine, right? Personally, Lakers NBA title in '85, Game 6 over the Celtics, I attribute to me and my friends going to church. Now, we put a black and white TV up in one of the classrooms, and I had a friend sneak out and get score updates. But we were in church that day, and the Lakers beat the Celtics. So maybe we fudged a little bit there. Okay, let's see here. Boom. Ramley ties. Our defense is due for a breakout game. Couldn't agree with you more. Rams are due for a breakout game. Ramley ties. Negretti, horns up. Good job. Tim Powers. Only time I wanted Cowboys to win was in the Hail Mary game, so Rams would have home field advantage the following week in the playoffs. Got my wish, but following week was a nightmare. Isn't that the funniest thing? Because the Cowboys were in a rebuild that year. They didn't make the playoffs in '74. They were 8-6, and they were in a rebuild. They weren't supposed to, right? They weren't supposed to win that game. And I know we thought we had them. I'll never forget that game because I was at that game with my brother. We took the bus from El Monte to LA downtown, caught another bus, got to the Coliseum. And I remember it was like, we're waiting for that last drive where Capoletti scored and stuff. And I remember this African-American guy, this black man in a business suit, dressed really nice. He was sitting there with his leg up, and he was watching people go out. And he says, all you cheap Ram fans, you're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be 42-37 Rams. And he was just so angry, right? And I always thought, man, I hope I'm not one of those cheap Ram fans. But that's how he viewed it. And that was a hard day. That was a real hard day. And you know what? Maybe if they had replay, they'd see one of those Preston Pearson touchdowns didn't count. He dropped it, and maybe it would be a different world today, different universe today, right? Maybe in another alternate universe, Rams won that game. That would be interesting to explore. Michael Negretti, horns up, Ramley ties. Tim Burns, on a serious note, with wide receivers always going down with us, is it a strength and conditioning coach issue? I don't know. Nakua had a history of injuries in college. They say that's what really hurt his draft stock. Cooper Kupp, all these years now, this is a guy that just did everything to maxing out his body, and I think his body's just giving out. And again, I go back to this. We have the richest owner in sports. Get me grass on that field. Get me grass. Do it for your players. Do it for your team. I don't care about wanting to have the venue available for other dates. Get me some grass. And I don't care that there's two teams playing on it. I'll take a little dirt, a little mud, but let's take care of your players. And Kupp has said it. It's hard to play on that surface. Marketing pro, Joe, I'm worried about Trey White. Do you think he's done at corner? Not yet. I don't like what I've seen. I did see some spots in the second half last week, but I'm really hoping it's a case of being so injured these last 2 years that he'll slowly come around and it's worth keeping an eye on. Remember, the Rams are not heavily invested in him. If he flames out, he's gone. He's gone. And we know the way the Rams are. Rams aren't going to pay a big contract to him, so he has a chance to make good and go someplace else next year. Rams like Kobe Durant, and the Rams obviously like Wallace and Woods, and so THT's coming back, Kendrick's coming back. I think he's going to play better. I do. I really do. I think he's learning how to play again, and so we'll see. Ramley ties. Go Dodgers tonight. Oh, I'm looking forward to the meltdown. Is it Cease that's pitching for the Padres? Who's pitching for the Dodgers? I'm not sure who's pitching for the Dodgers tonight. Oh, it's Flaherty, right? Yeah, he's been pitching well. My fantasy team had him. He did well this year. Ramley ties. I think the stage is too big for Trey. Oh, I don't. Not necessarily. I don't. I just think coming back from all the injuries he's had the last 2 years, it's almost like you could still see it there. He's just not in rhythm yet. And let's give him it just gives him he just needs time. I just think he needs time. Now he gives up 4 touchdowns to Odunze or DJ Moore. I'm gonna say cut the bum, right? But I right now want to give him the time. Micah Gutierrez, you ought to refer to yourself as the unofficial Rams historian. Oh, thank you. The story stuff to me is just, there's a lot of guys that can talk. There's a lot of guys that can write. But when you have to do the history stuff, it's like, go back, find out where you've been, right? To know where you're going, you got to remember where you've been. And there's just great irony, because I could remember the Philly game where Namath finished off, heard it on the radio. I remember the Jets Shea game at Shea. You remember those things, and they're just, to me, they're just anchors in history and stuff. But thank you for that. If the Rams want to hire me to be their historian, I'll live in a vault and just produce that stuff. That I would love to do that. I'm nerdish like that. There we go. Let's see here. Michael Negretti, CMC, Christian McCaffrey is having a problem with calf and Achilles. I wish him the best. Break a leg. Did you hear that he flew to Germany to see a specialist because it's more of an Achilles thing and they're just babying him along? Wow. Yeah. So that's pretty dangerous there. Tim Burns, you skipped church. I'm telling. No, God knew. And yeah, I'll tell you, I should have known better, because Dodgers won 3 games in a 3-game series against Houston in 1980. That was Joe Ferguson home run. And Sutton came in and the closer role in game 3 of that series. The Dodgers tied the Astros at the end of the season. And so there was a 1-game playoff played at Dodger Stadium. All the momentum was with the Dodgers. And when lunch happened, they were playing it as a day game. And when lunch happened, it was a Monday. After PE, 4th period, all my friends went out the gate. I snuck out the back, ran across the field, climbed over the ivy fence, hopped the fence, and went home because I wasn't going to miss that Dodger game. But the joke was on me. Lasorda had to start Dave Goltz, and that game was over in the first inning. I think the Dodgers lost 7-1. So when you break your routine, you get in trouble. Steve Ramirez, I was lucky in that my family always went to 9 a.m. Mass. Now I go to 8 a.m. Mass. Well, there you go, Steve. Good for you, right? I don't know if you feel it the same way I did or I do, but good for you. Willie Bowen, good to see you, Willie. Awesome. Horns up. Yep. Braden Fisk had 7 pressures versus Frisco. Yeah. Braden Fisk, again, a little less flashy than Jared Verse, but they're getting in position. And I know this seems weird, but they're getting in position. They're just not finishing. But he did play that play on Purdy on that last possession that kept him from scrambling for the first down. I do like these guys. Willie Bowen, horns up. Tim Burns, you nailed it, Joe. White had a couple of second-half plays. Thank you. Willie Bowen, what's up, family ties? Joe T, do you think the Rams should trade for Devontae Adams or Amari Cooper? I wouldn't. My feeling is if you get them cheap, if you get them cheap and you let them walk at the end of the year, right now, no team is going to give those guys away to the Rams. And I don't want to sacrifice the future for a wide receiver. We're seeing you can win with these receivers. Puka Nacua is a 5th-round pick. Cooper Kupp was a 3rd-round pick. Tutu Atwell was a 2nd-round pick. Jordan Whittington was an undrafted free agent. Robert Woods, I'm not going to say we pulled him off the ash heap, but his career really didn't take off until he got out of Buffalo, which was pre-McDermott, pre-Josh Allen. You can find receivers. I just don't want to break the bank for a receiver. And if you bring in a Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, I'm done with. I think he's had his time. But a Devontae Adams, sure, it would be great this year. But what are you giving up? And I think, I just wouldn't do it. You need somebody who needs to prove himself, like OBJ. Remember, OBJ was put in the street, and then the Rams got some good clicks out of him. And unfortunately, he wasn't Super Bowl MVP because he went out so early. But that's my feeling on it. I wouldn't do it. Mike Negretti, Pastor Joe, you are the Rams pastor. Could I be a chaplain? I don't know if I'm educated enough classically for the Rams to hire me as a chaplain, but I'm happy to help the team out with whatever they would need if I can get good parking and go to the stadium. Let's see. Steve Ramirez, Adams' contract can be cut in March of 2025. Oh, there you go. There you go. Again, what would you give up, though, for him? What would you give up, right? I don't think the Raiders are just going to give him away. They're going to want to get some pieces to him for him to rebuild and stuff. So Titans owe the Rams DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think Hopkins is a character dude. I don't. SM, thank you for clicking on. I don't think he's a character dude. I think he's got stuff, I don't know, some attitude there. Did you hear Josh Allen's comments about good to have players here that aren't stat driven? Maybe that was for Gabe Davis, maybe that was for Stephon Diggs, but look what the Bills are doing right now. Look what they're doing. And again, I'll say it, the quarterback will make the receiver. Now, sometimes that quarterback needs that receiver. I think what the Bears did with Caleb Williams is that, he's hurt all the time. Keenan Allen getting him, Cole Kmet at keeping him at tight end, bringing in Gerald Everett. DJ Moore is an excellent receiver. So they've got some people that are like safety blankets for Caleb Williams. But at a certain point, a quarterback goes to the next level, and he's going to make the receiver. And what were we preaching last week? And I know it sounded like I was preaching. Keep Stafford upright, and this team's going to win because Stafford will make those receivers work, right? And they wouldn't be on the roster if they weren't capable with the Rams system. And it worked, right? It worked. Keep Stafford upright. No sweat on Stafford this week, to quote Mr. Powers. No sweat on Stafford. And then maybe it will be no sweat. Okay, guys, I hate to leave. Let's see here. Gramley ties Flaherty tonight and Bueller tomorrow for the Dodgers. Dodgers need this win tonight. Flaherty's the guy they got to get, right? Because Bueller, you can't trust him. You just can't trust Bueller right now. Flaherty's got to get the win tonight to keep this at a 2-game advantage for the Dodgers. I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe for the Dodgers in the postseason anyway. But to lose the division and have to go in as a wild card, that would be really bad mojo. I'm even hearing Dodger fans, they're not interested in watching any of this till the Dodgers get to the World Series. They keep saying, we've seen this show before. As a Mets fan, last year was all the hype and the disappointment. This year, what the Mets have done, it's all exceeded expectations, right? They needed time to maybe develop a younger staff, and they're just doing it with smoking Luis Severino. Sean Manaea. They're just making it work, right? And stuff. And so I'm not as going to be as uptight. When I got DeGrom pitching, and I had Syndergaard in his prime, and I had Zach Wheeler, and I had, when everything was still hopeful for Steven Matz, and the Dark Knight of Gotham was there, Brian Harvey, but it looked like this team was set up for 10 years. So I was getting angry every time I'd see them lose and stuff. But right now, this is a total unexpected thing, right? And they're doing really well. And I hope they can finish and get there. They lost to the Braves last night. But the Dodgers need this. This will be extremely disappointing if they go in as a wild card, because I just don't think they have the pitching. There's not that one guy, in 88, it was Hershiser. 87 for the Twins, it was Viola and Bert Blyleven, right? It was just, in 91, it was Jack Morris. There's always that guy, Dave Stewart, in 90. There's just that beast that rises. And I'm just Kurt Schilling. There's just guys that rise to these moments. Madison Bumgarner, they just rise. And the Dodgers don't look like they have anybody that's ready to rise. Maybe Flaherty, but I don't think so. So anyway, let's see here. Tim Burns, looking back, would you have traded Donald after the Super Bowl year for picks, seeing him gone now? I don't think anybody could have foreseen it. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. Now, if there was a team desperate enough, I know this is going to be heresy, that wanted Cooper Kupp right now, they thought they could get a nice little run with him. Yeah, I'd probably move Cooper Kupp. But I know that's heresy. But if you can lose Robert Woods, if my favorite player, if you can lose James Harris, if you can lose Harold Jackson, you can lose a lot of guys. I like Matthew Stafford because I just think he's great, and you don't get great too often at quarterback. You can get good, and as I shared on Monday, I really like Kurt Warner, but I think Matthew Stafford's better, and he's just the guy. He's the Steve McQueen. He's the John Wayne at quarterback, and just want to appreciate him while you have, because you're just not going to replace him. Ramley Ties, win tonight and you're up 3 games. Lose and it's a 1-game lead. Yeah, there you go. I don't trust Bueller Manana, right? And stuff. So Tim Burns, Dodgers need Bauer. Boy, I tell you, don't even get me going on that Bauer thing. I'm actually thinking, newsflash here, guys. We still got a good audience, and I'm getting ready to wrap up. But I actually went back on Spotify. I got locked out of my Spotify account when they upgraded it or they revamped it, and they knew not Joseph. And so I wasn't doing really well on Spotify, but I went back and I created a Spotify account. It's called From the Ram Cave and stuff. And so if you want to check that out, we had one of our listeners ask if I could put it on Spotify. I put yesterday's show on Spotify. I'm also thinking once a week of doing FanView. FanView is my column I wrote for years, which is a sports column for the paper and website, and talking about other things like we're talking about right now. And so if you get a chance to get on Spotify, go subscribe on Spotify to From the Ram Cave. And this show will be uploaded there tomorrow. And we'll I'm thinking about doing just audio on Spotify in the next couple of weeks, starting a routine on that. So I say that because I would love to talk about Bauer and Urias Ramley Ties. And I think Bauer made some poor choices and he paid for it, but he wasn't the devil. And the media was so quick to find a devil. Honestly, I'm Bauer, along with Matt Ariza, the punter from San Diego State, now with the Chiefs. I'm suing and I'm destroying people's lives. Because all you got is your name, right? All you got is your name. And baseball went CYA and they cut Bauer loose. Now, that doesn't mean Bauer's a good guy, but he was wronged here. And I hope that somewhere down the stretch, he just gets $1 billion from them in a settlement just to teach a lesson. And the Dodgers look bad. The Dodgers weren't by their guy. Now, maybe he's a douche in the clubhouse. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if Trevor Bauer's got enough to change the world right now, but it'd be nice to have Trevor Bauer for the Dodgers. I think they would. Rich Hill is still available. I think Rich Hill officially retired, didn't he? Didn't he officially retire? I kind of lost track out of Rich Hill after Roberts pulled him after the 4th inning against the Astros. And was that game 2? It's like, why did you pull him, right? Unless it came from upstairs, and no one asks those questions. Urias actually looks like he's more of a liability or Urias looks like he's more of a liability than Bauer these days. So there you go. Okay, guys, I think I better jet. We are over an hour, and I usually try to keep the show to 150. So appreciate your support. Go to Spotify, From the Ram Cave. Type that in and subscribe to it. And then if you can, support my books. They're on Amazon. These are my football books, Game Day in the Ram Cave, Tangent Dreams, and then, of course, Temple City Company of the Ages. These are my football books. All the support we appreciate. We don't have a Patreon, and we do not hide behind a paywall. So thank you so much for the support. Guys, we will get this posted and shared. And be sure to check us out and subscribe as we build this base. God bless. Take care. We will see you on Friday.